I wanted to say something different about training. What could I say that could be important to the bodybuilder that didn't have to do with building size or zeroing in for a contest? After all, how many months a year can you continue that steady, murderous training you do for contest? I've worked in that scene, 12 straight months of bloodletting, getting ready for a single Mr. Olympia contest. I can tell you by the 11th month I was burnt out. I spent the last month hanging on to muscle for dear life, nearly blew the whole thing. I thought about that when Muscle Builder asked me for something about training that wouldn't be a rework of current themes. There was always room for discussion on chiseling separation and definition into the thighs. I could also say more on the importance of the Weider split and double split system and how to use them. Then there's the ever popular idea of intensifying training when zooming in for the Mr. Olympia. I still got a lot to say about those things. However, when you consider training from a 12-month standpoint, you realize that about 6 of those months are spent training with no real great degree of intensity. That's a pretty good chunk of the bodybuilding year. It occurred to me that we had always tended to fluff off those months as just another red traffic signal we stopped for, waiting until it turned green again. Never forget, bodybuilding training is an all-around year business. You never stop. After a big contest, you can shift into a lower gear, but you still train. You train heavy too, but we'll go into that. I'd like to call it off-season training. In actuality, about 1/2% of the guys training today ever get involved in any pre-Mr. Olympia kind of killer training. The vast majority have jobs and families and responsibilities that make an hour to an hour and a half training a day more realistic. When I first came to the United States at the invitation of Joe Weider, I was big, 250. I stayed that way all the time. Since I've been here and have had a chance to add to my knowledge and training and diet, I have a new approach to my in-between contest appearance. Like I said, formerly when I used to train for a Mr. Olympia or Mr. Universe contest, I tend to burn out just before the competition. I had to go through all the mental agonies of overtraining. It made me unhappy. I've changed all that, and today I arrive at a contest time raring to go. Now after competition, I slack off. For example, after the Mr. Olympia contest last year, I made my usual tour of Europe. I spent about 3 weeks giving posing exhibitions. I gave them without any training whatsoever, no workouts. I watched my diet a little. I lost considerable body weight but continued to look good. The hard contest training has a long-lasting effect. The muscular condition lasts for months afterwards. After the few weeks of exhibitions, I picked up my training again. Workouts every day, but only for an hour. No more 3 hours. I continued to train every body part twice a week. I let everything rest, elbows, knees, back. I'll do a total of only 10 sets for each body part. Following the big contest, usually from October to December, I do very little. From January to April, I move into spring training, stepping it up a bit, perhaps with 12 sets for each body part. From April to July, I continue with a steady increase of 15 to 18 sets of body part, but still only twice a week for each body part. After July, I go into high gear once again, doing 20 sets per body part 3 times a week, each part. I don't make a conscious attempt to lose body weight, rather just letting it do what it wants to do. That's during the time I'm not training too hard. The muscle mass drops off somewhat with a consequent loss in body weight. When I train, I gain. When I don't train, I tend to lose body weight without changing my diet appreciably. I do eat less often when I am training less. The question comes up regarding my contribution to the science of bodybuilding. A lot of theories have been advanced on bodybuilding, but to actually implement them, put them into action, I feel in the area I have contributed a great deal. Joe Weider and the Weider Research Clinic has constantly had me on deck experimenting with this or that new concept. If they were any good, I made them work. I would say that I have sophisticated several of the presently popular training systems. Even off-season training is a concept in itself. It can be an important part of the bodybuilder's program. If one isn't careful, he can make it a happy delusion. He can slack off too much, too long, and wind up close to contest time, unable to recoup his losses. Experimenting with off-season training became a delicate process. It involved a lot of valuable months. I had to make the right calculations. It had to be a period of adjustment, relaxing, recovering, and at the same time, it had to be a pre-contest preparatory program, always with an eye onward the future. I say that once the contest season is over, I stop thinking about competition, but that's only consciously. I think inwardly I'm always generating steam for the future. At the start of my off-season training, I will do 2 different exercises for each body part, 5 sets each for a total of 10. Again, I'll work each part twice a week. I prefer the exercise listed below for each body part. These are my choices, and I'd strongly suggest them for anyone else. Chest, bench press and dumbbell flying. Deltoid, press behind neck and lateral raise. Lats, chins and barbell rowing. Thighs, leg extensions, squats and leg curls. Calves, donkeys, 5 sets every day. Abdominals, Roman chair sit-ups, 500 reps, leg raises, 200 reps. Arms, dumbbell curls and one-arm concentration curls. Triceps, pushdowns, lying tricep extensions. I do 5 sets on each exercise, in general a total of 10 sets for each body part. 10 reps is standard on anything where I'm moving iron. The 3 thigh exercises make for a total of 15 sets. The calves I work every day, so the daily donkeys along with the leg curls give them plenty of work in the course of a week. I do the Roman chair sit-ups without stopping, but I break the leg raises up into 2 sets of 100. I set a reasonably fast pace, making full use of the quality training principle. Don't take the idea of off-training to mean you can lag in your routine. The thought processes you use when you are zeroing in for a contest must also be kept alive through use during off-season training. Leave your distractions outside the gym. Don't use your workout time to ponder the problems of the day. That can screw you up to where you don't even remember how many sets you've done on an exercise. As soon as your fingers contact a weight, a relay to your brain should switch on simultaneously, electronically. I think if you were to follow this off-season training program all year round, you could hold a near maximum muscularity for years. It's easy on you mentally and physically. 10 sets are no substitute for 20 sets, of course. For the contest bodybuilder, 10 sets will prevent erosion. For the beginner and intermediate bodybuilder, my off-season training program will offer a steady muscle increase. Diet remains important at all times. You can't go wild with food for months at a time and expect to keep your cuts. If you insist on eating a quart of ice cream every night during the off-season, you're going to have problems when it comes time for contest training. It seems that many of the veteran bodybuilders, the guys who have been at the top for a long time, either through boredom or carelessness, have a tendency to run to old-fashioned bulk. The muscle shape is still there, but they get smooth like toy balloons. I don't like to point the finger because maybe my day is coming, but I think a stricter diet would stamp out the condition. During this quiet season, I don't eat as often, keeping it down to 3 meals a day. For breakfast, I'll have 3-egg cheese omelet, fried lightly in butter, with a Weider Vitamin Mineral 100 tablet, and not much else. For lunch, I'll have a hamburg patty with a couple more eggs, and little else. In the evening, I'll have chicken or fish, salad, and vitamin B, vitamin C, and Liver Plus tablets. If that seems like a contest diet, it is in a lesser way. I'm not into the ice cream thing. I have to watch it all the time. For contest training, I increase my food intake, simply eating more of those things I listed. I will add a couple of more meals. Then a typical breakfast would be a half-pound hamburg patty with 3 or 4 scrambled eggs with some bacon. For lunch, I'll have a big steak and eggs and salad. A mid-afternoon meal will consist of a couple cans of tuna, salad, and a glass of Crash Weight Formula No. 7. In the evening, it's steak again, or fish or chicken, maybe 3/4 of a pound, with salad and fruit. Remember, I am working out twice a day when eating like that. I usually sip a can of Weider Super Pro 101 during my workout. I want to gain weight because my system is geared to make muscle. I don't get fat. When I am taking 12 workouts a week, double split, and even working out on the beach on Sunday, I gain only muscle. So to sum it up, during the off season, you train heavy and fast, an hour a day, and you eat less of the good food. When contest training time rolls around, you have a lot of momentum, and you'll be able to accelerate quickly and be going full bore for another title, loaded down with extras, size, definition, shape, and cuts.